Mangaru's Tutoring Services Mathematics Classes.
Mangaru's Tutoring Services Practice Test Paper 5. Number 1. Write a numeral for 1,049,016. So we can put commas here if we like. Right, 1,049,016. Next, what is the place value of the 8 in the number below? So this is in the hundredths position. The 7 will be in the tenths position. So the answer is hundredths, not 800ths. That will be the value. They are asking for the place value, the position. Next, write the following in expanded notation. So this is 53,000. So that's 5 times 10,000 plus 3 times 1,000. This here is 201. So that's 2 times 100. You can put this or you can leave it out since 0 times 10 is 0. Right, then you have the 1. So 1 times 1 is 1. And then you have 0.94. So that's 9 tenths and 4 hundredths. So we can write it as 9 times 1 tenth plus 4 times 100. Next, round off this number to the nearest hundreds of thousands. So we know that this is tens of thousands, thousands, etc. We don't have any digit in the hundreds of thousands position, but they are asking us to round up to the nearest hundreds of thousands. So we look at the number after, which is a 9, and since it's more than 4, we will add 1 to the hundreds of thousands, so that will make it 100,000. And we put zeros as placeholders or place fillers for the other digits afterwards. So let's do that again. So for the 95,681, sorry. Since the 9 is more than, we're going to put a 1 for the digit, or we're going to add a 1 to the digit on the left, which makes it 0 plus 1 is 1. And for all the digits on the right, we're going to put zeros. So your answer is 100,000. Next, list the composite numbers between 29 and 41. So one way we can think of composite numbers is numbers that are not prime numbers. So once the numbers have factors, or more than 2 factors rather, it is considered a composite number. So if we check all the digits from 30 to 40, we know that 30 can be divided by different numbers such as 2, 5, 10, etc. We know that 32 could be divided by 2, so it is composite. 33 can be divided by 3, so it's composite. 34 can be divided by 2, so it's composite. So if we check all the numbers, we will realize that numbers such as 31 can only be divided by 1 or itself. And that is what we know is a prime number. And a prime number cannot be a composite number. Similarly, 37 is a prime number, so it is not composite. Next, find the LCM of 9, 6, and 8. So we can do factorization, or we can use our tables and figure it out. So what I know is 9 times 8 is equal to 72. And I also know that 6 can go into 72 because 12 can go into 72. Right? So six times 12 is 72. So that means that 9 can go into 72, 8 can go into 72, and 6 can go into 72. So Therefore, 6, 9, and 8 is a factor of 72. Right? Another way we can work this out, we can say, let's list the multiples. So let's list the multiples of 6, which is 6, 12, 18, and we will eventually get 72. If we do the same for 9, then 9, 18, and we keep going and we'll reach 72. Similarly for 8, 16, 24, all the way to 72. And we will notice that 72 is the first common multiple that we'll find, and therefore it's the lowest common multiple. Next, 7. Arrange the digits to form the lowest number that is divisible by both 4 and 5. So how do we know if a number is divisible by 5? Well, it must end with a 5 or a 0. So we are looking at the possible options would be 4080 or 4800. That's the only two numbers that will end in a 0. Now some students may put 0048 or 0480. We will give this one as correct, but we really didn't want the digit or the number to start with a 0. Right, but since that wasn't specified, if you have 480, we will give you it correct. Alright, so the answer we are looking for is one of these two. Now, how do we know if a number is divisible by 4? A number is divisible by 4 if the last two digits are zeros, or if the last two digits are divisible by 4. So, is 80 divisible by 4? That's not difficult. 4 into 4, 1, 4 into 8, 2. Right, we put back to 0, the end 0, so that's 20. So 80 is divisible by 4, and which one is lower? 480, or 4080, or 4800? Of course, 4080. So that is your answer. Number 8. Circle a triangular prism. Number 9. Name the quadrilateral that has one pair of parallel sides. Number 10. 12 squared is 144, and the square root of 64 is 8. We add these two together, we get 152. Number 11. 3.52 multiplied by 47. Okay, so let's begin by multiplying by the ones digit. We don't have to, but I will do that for this example. So 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 5 is 35 plus 1 is 36. And then 7 times 3 is 21, and 21 plus 3 is 24. Next, 4, we're going to multiply by the 4, but before we do that, since this is a tens number, we're going to put a 0 to start. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 5 is 20. And 4 times 3 is 12 plus 2 is 14. So now we're going to add these together and we'll get 4. 6 plus 8 is 14. 5, 6, 1. Now we must take this into account that there are 2 decimal places in this number and there aren't any in this number. So you must come from the right end and put in your decimal point 2 places. Write the following in ascending order. So we have 3 eighths. So what we can do is we can write all of them as percentage. 3 eighths as a percent is 37.5%. Alright. Hopefully you all would have learned that off from the table. 0.45, we can move the point 2 places to the right to get the percentage. That would be 45%. 40% is given, and the half, we should know that is 50%. So we can easily see the lowest is 37.5%, which is this fraction, then the 40%, then the 45%, which is this, and then the 50%, which is this. Right? Ascending order means from the smallest to the biggest, smallest to largest. Number 13, solve this addition. So let's add 5 sevens plus 4 6. We can always add the whole number after. Right, so if the digits are small or the denominators are small, we can simply multiply them to get a common multiple. In this case, 7 times 6 is 42. 7 into 42 is 6. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 into 42 is 7. 7 times 4 is 28. 30 plus 28 is 58. 58 over 42. Right? 42 into 58 is equal to 1. Remainder 16. Right? If we add the whole number that we have from this number here, we will get 2 and 16 over 42. We can go further and reduce this fraction here. We can say 2 into 16 is 8 and 2 into 42 is 21. So your answer is 2 and 8 over 21. If you had 2 and 16 over 42, I will give you it correct as well. Number 14. Find the sum below. So 100, 200, 300, 420, 430, 440, 441. So we can put that here, $441. And 25 plus 25 is 50, plus 25 is 75. This here is another 25. So 75 plus 25 is 100, so that's 100 cents and 10 cents. So 100 cents will give you $1, and 10 cents will give you, well, we can write that as 0.10. So we just add these together, the dollar notes and coins. So your answer is $442.10. Next, we have a pattern. How do we get from 5 to 6? We can add 1. How do we get from 6 to 18? We can either add 12 or we can multiply by 3. We can add 12 or multiply by 3. How do we get from 18 to 19? Well, we can add 1. So we see that part of the trend repeating. And then how do you go from 19 to 57? Would we add 12 again? If we add 12, we'll get 31, so that can't be it. But if we multiply by 3, 19 times 3 is 57. So this is the pattern here. Add 1, multiply by 3. Add 1, then multiply by 3. So we will continue that pattern. We will add 1, that will give us 58. And then we will multiply 58 times 3, which will give us 174. Right, so that is your answer. Next, how many lines of symmetry does a shape have? So we can see that we have one line of symmetry. Number 17, how many quarter turns from home to the market? We have 1 quarter turn here. We have 1 quarter turn here. We have 1 quarter turn here. So that's a total of 3. Number 18, it looks as if this side is equal to this side. So that is an isosceles triangle. We can put the word triangle at the end. Next, connect dots to form a pentagon that has 2 right angles and 1 line of symmetry. So as far as I can see, there is only one answer. Right, a pentagon is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-sided shape, and the one that we drew has 2 right angles here and a line of symmetry this way. Lastly, complete a table. So a number or a frequency of 7 can be written as this. Right, 5 plus 5 plus 2 is 12. Right, 10 can be written like this if we tally. And how did we get this last line? Well, we know that in total there is 40. We add these together, we'll get 31. 40 minus 31 is 9. Okay, so let's take a look at section 2. So we started off with a number, y. We multiplied it by 3 to get z, and we subtracted 12 to get 42. So in order to get z, we're going to work backwards here, and then we're going to work backwards here. Right? We're going to do the reverse calculation. So if we minus 12 to get this, we're simply going to add 12 to get z. So z is equal to 12 plus 42. That will give us 54. And then, so 54 here. We multiplied some number by 3 to get 54. So we can work backwards and say, well, 54 divided by 3, and that will give us 18. 3 into 5 is 1, remainder 2. 3 into 24 is 8. Alright, so we have the working, oh no, we don't have the working. Alright, so let me leave that here for you. Y is equal to 54 divided by 3, which is 18. Alright, Then we have number 22. This really should be what is 62.5% of the number. 3/4 of a number is 48, right? So when given a fraction is equal to an amount, we can find the total by flipping the fraction and multiplying it by the amount it is equal to. Right, so that would be 4/3 multiplied by 48. 3 into 3, 1. 3 into 4 is 1, remainder 1. 3 into 18 is 6. Or we could have said 3 into 3, 1. 3 into 48, 16, if we know that. And then we multiply 4 times 16, we'll get 64. So the number, the total is 64. And now we have to find 62.5% of that number. So hopefully you all would have learned what 62.5% is as a fraction, right? If not, we can work it out, right? But that is 5/8. 5/8 of the number, we worked out the number to be 64. 8 into 8 is 1. 8 into 64 is 8. 5 times 8 is 40. So your answer is 40. Number 23. So don't focus on the answers yet. Let's read. 2/8 of Jared's coconuts was spoiled and the rest was good for sale. He sold 4/6 of the good ones to Maggie. Jared sold 4 coconuts in a bag for $12. Maggie bought $84 worth of coconuts. What's the amount of coconuts Jared started with? So if 2/8 was spoiled, then the remainder or the rest was good, we can simply take away 2/8 from a whole. So we are simply talking about the fractions part of it. So the whole is, we can write it as 8/8. We subtract what was spoiled, and we would have gotten what is good. We can write it as 6/8 or 3/4. Alright, and they told us that 4/6 of the good ones was sold to Maggie. So 4/6 can be written as 2/3, right, if we reduce it. So the good ones, 2/3 of the good ones was sold, right? 2 into 2 is 1, 2 into 8 is 4, 4 into 4, let's say, sorry, 2 into 4, 2 into 4 is 2, and 2 into 6 is 3, 3 into 3 is 1, 3 into 3 is 1. So if we multiply on top, we'll get 1 times 1 is 1, and below we'll get 2 times 1 is 2. So we'll get a half. Next, they told us that Maggie bought $84 worth of coconuts. So $84, and it's $12 for a bag, so that's 7 bags, right? And each bag have 4 in it, so 7 times 4 is 28, right? But we know from here that the total amount sold was half, or the fraction sold was half, and that is equal to 28. So how do we get a total? We simply flip the fraction or reciprocate the fraction, multiply by the amount it is equal to, and we'll get the total. Right, 2 times 28 is 56. Well, this is an error here. I forgot to change this. Alright, so let's look at number 28. Average. 5 girls have an average of 10. Right, so we can find the total for the 5 girls. 10 times 5 is 50. And 1 girl joined, so that is one more number, the average increased by 2. So the total for the 6, 10 plus 2 is 12. The total for the 6 is 12. Sorry. The average for the 6 is 12. So the total will be 6 times 12 is 72. Right, so if we say the 6 numbers, take away the 5 numbers, we will get the missing number. Right, so that's 72 minus 50, and we'll get 22. So the girl that joined, she came in with 10 bracelets. Number 25. The average of two numbers is 7 and 9, which is equal to the average of 4 and x. So if we have the same amount of numbers and they have the same average, then the total of those numbers will be the same. So we can say 7 plus 9 is equal to x plus 4. And we can solve that. We can say, well, 7 plus 9 is 16, which is equal to x plus 4. So x, some number plus 4 is 16, that's 12. That's easy. Number 26. So here we have a pattern question. So these show in a repeated order, right? And then it goes again and again, etc. So it starts with cricket. We need to find the 73rd sport that was shown. So all we need to do is count how many items in the core pattern that is being repeated. So that's 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we take the number 73 in this case. We divide it by 5. 5 into 7 is 1, remainder 2. 5 into 23 is 4, remainder 3. Now the key thing here would be the remainder. Right, we use the remainder. We go from the start. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Right? So if the right, so we have to circle the answer, so that's your answer. Number 27. So we need to determine how many grapefruit juice, orange juice, and apple was purchased in order to obtain a total of $63.50. Right? Iman bought at least one of each drink, and she spent exactly $63.50. So if we look at the amount spent, it ends with 50 cents. So it means that we either use 1 apple or 3 apples or 5 apples, etc. If we use 2 apples, $7.50 plus $7.50 will give you $15. And that will not give you a remainder of 50 cents. Right? So one of the ways we can approach this question is to add one of each, because they told us there must be at least one of each. So 1 grapefruit plus 1 orange plus 1 apple so that's $28.50. Right? If we take that away from the total, three can't take away 8, so we borrow. So we remain with $35. So this would make it a little bit easier. So we can now determine what combination of these items will give you $35. So by trial and error, you will realize that if we add 2 apples, it will be $20. Plus, sorry, not apples, that is 2 oranges. And if we add 2 apples, that will give you $15. $7.50 plus $7.50 is 15. We will get the 35. So that is one of the combinations that we can use. So here we have one of each, and we have 2 apples and 2 oranges, so that will give you a total of 1 grapefruit pine, 3 oranges, and 3 apples. Another way we could have worked this out is by trying a number of grapefruit, a number of oranges, and a number of apples. Number 28. Which is the longest path to school, A, B, or C? So we can convert each path to meters only, so we can then easily compare. So 3,000 or 3 kilometers rather is 3,000 meters, and well, we have the 200 meters, so that will be 3,200. Where is the A? The A is missing, right? I know it's there in the question sheet. B, we have 2,900 that is given, and C, we have 2,700 plus 0.6 kilometers. So 0.6 kilometers, we can multiply by 1,000 to get meters. That will be 600 meters, which will give you a total of 3,300. So which of these three is the highest? 3,200, 2,900, or 3,300? So this is obviously your answer. So C is your answer. Next, a vendor bought pigeon peas to sell at the market. It was packaged into 3 bags. All right, so bag A is 4,500 grams. If we convert the 4.5 kilograms, 1, 2, 3, multiply by 1,000, we'll get 4,500 grams. Right? So we can convert all of them to grams. Well, in this case, it's just bag A, and all of the others will be automatically converted. B is 240 grams lighter, so we can subtract. And C is twice as much as B, so we simply multiply by 2. And then they ask for the total weight, so we can add all of them together, and we'll get 17,280 grams, or 17.28 kilograms. To go from grams to kilograms, we simply divide by 1,000. Number 30. What is a perimeter? So we know that the length is twice the width. So 4 times 2 is 8. If this is 8 and that's 4, we can simply add the distance around. So we can say 4 plus 8 plus 4 plus 8, we get 24. Or we can say 4 plus 4. No, let's do that over. We can say 4 plus 8 is 12, and then multiply it by 2 because we have 2 widths and we have 2 lengths. Next, we have an age question. Salvan is 7 years older than his sister Sylvia. So we can say 26 plus 7, which will give us 33. So Salvan is 33 in 2026. So we can simply minus his age from the year to get his date of birth. We can simply subtract his age from that year that he was that age, and we'll get his date of birth or year of birth. Number 32. A soccer match starts at 6:20 p.m. Each half is 45 minutes and there's a 15-minute halftime break. So we basically have first half followed by a halftime break, first half, halftime break, and then second half. Alright, so if we start at 6:20, and we add 45 minutes, we will get 7:05. And then we must add the break time, which is 15 minutes. And we'll get right here, we get 7:20 p.m., which is also the start of the second half. So let's take a closer look at the addition. 20 plus 45. So we're going to add this as a whole, not one digit at a time. If we can see that this crosses 60, it means that we will put a number on the outside. 20 plus 45 is 65, which is more. Anytime it crosses 69, it means it's more than an hour. So we are going to take away 1 hour. We remain with 5 minutes. Right, we're going to put a 5 minutes in the minute section, and we're going to add the hour to the hour section. So that's 7:05. So 7:05, and then we add 15 minutes, which is much easier. We get 7:20. Number 33, we have some unequal sharing. So we have 3 persons sharing 103 fruits, and Gabriel gets 4 more than the other 2. So Johnny and Frankie will be box, and Gabriel will be box plus 4. So that's a total of 3 boxes plus 4, which is equal to the total. So we can work backwards. We can say if this is plus 4, we're going to minus 4 from the total, and we get 99. And then we divide 99 by 3 to get for 1 box. So that means that Frankie and Johnny will have 33, and Gabriel will have 33 plus 4, which is 37. Number 34, another unequal sharing. 7 dozen pencils, that's 7 times 12 is 84. There are half as many blue pencils as there are yellow pencils. So we look to see which one is less. In this case, blue is less. Another way of saying one item is half the amount of the other, we can say the yellow is twice as much as the blue. Instead of saying blue is half as much as yellow, we can say yellow is twice as much as blue. right? So in total, that will be 3 boxes, or 3 times box. 3 boxes is 84. So box will be equal to 84 divided by 3. 3 into 3 is 1, 3 into 84 is 3 into 8, sorry, is 2. Remainder 2. 3 into 24 is 8. So box is equal to 8. 28, sorry. So if blue is 28, then yellow is equal to box times 2, which is 28 times 2, which is 56. Number 35, we have equally spaced objects. Trees are planted along a rectangular play park. They have a spacing or space length of 10 meters. So we can start by finding the total distance or perimeter around 30 plus 60 plus 30 plus 60. And that will give us 180. So we can divide the number of, or the total length rather, by the spacing or space length. So let's put that here. The number of spaces is equal to the total length. In this case, it's the perimeter. Divided by the spacing or the space length and that will be 180, which we worked out for the perimeter, divided by 10, which was given. So we can cancel 1 and 0 on top with 1 and 0 below, and we'll get 18 spaces, which for objects in a perimeter, the number of spaces is equal to the number of objects. Number of spaces is equal to the number of objects. So your answer is 18 trees. And last question for section 2. We have a restaurant which have different types of seats. So we were told that we have 6 two-seaters, 6 two-seater tables, which is a total of 6 by 2 is 12 seats. We have a total of 4 5-seater tables, so 4 times 5 is 20. In total, that will give us 12 plus 20 is 32. We have a total of 47 seats. So we minus the 2-seater and 5-seater, and we'll remain with 15 seats for the 3-seater tables. 15 seats for the 3-seater tables. 15 divided by 3 will give us 5, so we have 5 3-seater tables. Alright, section 3, number 37. We need to determine the outer width, or the width of the outer rectangle, right? So we weren't given it. So they told us that this is 8, right? And here's 2, and here's 2. So that's 8 plus 4 is 12, right? So that was easy. For the next question, they told us the shaded area is filled with tiles. How many tiles are needed? So we need to find this area here of this big rectangle. Then we need to find the area of the inner rectangle. and if we subtract them, we'll get this shaded area, right? So we need to have the length and the width for both rectangles. So let's do that. So we know that the outer rectangle is 16 by 12, and the inner one would be 8 by 12. How do we know that this is 12? Because if this is 16, and here's 2, and here's 2, that's 16, take away 4 is 12. Right, so you can see the working right here. Actually, no, we don't have the working there. So that's your explanation for the length and width. So let's take a closer look at B. So as I said, the area of the shaded part is the outer rectangle minus the inner rectangle. The outer rectangle is 16 times 12 is 192. The inner rectangle is 8 times 12, which is 96. So we subtract and we get 96 meters squared. So we need to determine how many tiles can fit in this space going around, right? So we need to determine the area of one tile. Length times width, 2 times 1 is 2, so that's easy, 2 meters squared. So if the total area is 96 meters squared, we divide by the area of one tile and we get 48 tiles. Number 5, we have a fractions question. Now remember, for all of the questions in section 3, it's 4 marks. So we have the total number of grapefruits. So let's determine the fraction that was spoiled. So that's 1/7 of 4,935. 7 into 4 is 0, so 7 into 49 is 7. 7 into 3 is 0, right? So 7 into 35 is 5. So that's 705 that was spoiled, right? 1/6 of the remainder were green. So this is the total. Take away the amount that was spoiled, we get 4,230. Now because 1/7 was 4, we can say that 6/7 was good. So 6/7 times 4935 will give us, we know that this is 705. Now if we multiply 6 times 705, we will get 4,200 or 4,230, which will be the same answer. So we can subtract first and then multiply, or we can multiply first and then subtract. Okay, so what they told us, 1/6 of the remainder were green and the rest were good. So all we simply do was take away the green ones from the good ones. Or rather, let me rephrase that. So the ones that wasn't spoiled and remained is 4,230. So we took away the green ones from the 4,230 and we get 3,525, 3,525. He sold the good fruits to a juice company at a price of $5 per fruit. So this was good for sale, $5 each. We multiply it, we get 17,625. Alright, let's take a look at number 39, an average question. Kira scored an average of 69% in 4 tests. In order for her to get an award, she must obtain an A grade average. An A grade is 75% or more. So let's determine her total for the 4 tests. That's 69 times 4. Easy multiplication, we'll get 276. And she wants to get an A grade. In order for her to get an A grade, she must score at least 75. An average of 75 rather in her 5 tests. So we can work the total out for the 5 tests. Right, so let's just put this is the total for the 4 tests. And this is the total for the 5 tests. So far she scored a total of 276, but she needs to score a total of 375. So how do we determine how much she needs in her 5th test? We simply subtract total for the 5 tests minus the total for the 4 tests, and we get 99. This is the 5th test score. All right, so that was 3 marks. Part B is 1 mark. Kira believes that she can get an average of 100% by scoring 100% in her 5th test. Is she correct? Well, no, because if she scored 99% in her 5th test, and it took her average from 69 to 75, then definitely scoring 100% won't take you from 75 to 100, right? 1 more percent cannot cause that. And the only way that she can score an average of 100% in 5 tests is by scoring 100% in all 5 papers. So Kira is wrong. The only way she can get an average of 100% is if she scores 100% in all 5 papers. So once you express something similar, something resembling that, you will get the mark. Last question. It's a time question. It's not too difficult for 4 marks. Right, so A is 1 mark, B is 2 marks, and C is 1 mark. How long was John Wick? So we can say from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. that's 1 hour, to 12 p.m. that's another hour, and then to 12:45 that's 2 hours and 45 minutes. Right? What time, part B, what time did Teen Titans start? So they didn't give us any information here. Now what we can observe is that they gave us a start time for the different movies, but they didn't give us the end time. They also told us that the shows air back to back. So it means that the time that one movie ends is the time that the one movie starts is the time that the other movie ended. So John Wick, as soon as John Wick was finished, Stranger Things began. So John Wick finished at 12:45 and Stranger Things began at 12:45. So we can use that information. So what time did Teen Titans start? So what they told us is that Teen Titans last for 40 minutes. So it means that Teen Titans ended at 2:30. So all we need to do is subtract 40 minutes and we'll get a start time. So let's do that. 2:30 minus 40 minutes. So we know that 30 minutes cannot take away 40 minutes. So we need to borrow 1 from the hours. 2 take away 1 is 1. And we will bring across 60 minutes. Because 1 hour is 60 minutes. So 60 plus 30 minus 40. 60 plus 30 is 90. 90 minus 40 is 50. So that's 1:50 p.m. right? And lastly, how long was Stranger Things? So now that we know that Teen Titans started at 1:50, that also tells us what time Stranger Things ended. So Stranger Things started at 12:45 and ended at 1:50. So 12:45 to 1:45 is 1 hour, and then to 1:50, that's another 5 minutes. So that's 1 hour and 5 minutes. Right? We can also subtract and we'll get the same answer. Right? So let's do the subtraction. So 1:50 we can write that in the 24-hour clock time, so that'll be 13:50. That will make it a bit easier. Minus 12:45. 50 minus 45 is 5. 13 minus 12 is 1. So we're not going to put 1:05 p.m. because they're not asking us the time. They're asking us the duration, or how long something occurred. So it's 1 hour and 5 minutes. If you put 65 minutes, we'll give you the mark as well. But you cannot put 1:05 p.m.
Thank you for watching. If you have found this video to be helpful, please feel free to contact us for more information about our classes.